Hello there, Kirsten here. This is the Decision Ease podcast, and we're going to give you today the simplest formula for making faster decisions. This is a follow-up to what we discussed last week, which are sneaky habits that run in the background that complicate these decisions that otherwise shouldn't feel like such a big deal. We know these choices. We hate these choices because they're so low stakes, which, yay. But they can feel so heavy and complicated, which boo. So today we're going to help you keep making these seemingly small, low stakes, but still significant choices. It's not insignificant what you eat for dinner or where to work or what color curtains you pick. And these are the decisions we're going to help you make faster. You're going to get the simplest formula for it. This is just 2 parts. There are only 2 parts to this formula. I'm only asking you to pay attention to 2 things today. If you need to make this decision quickly, here are the 2 things you're going to pay attention to. Number 1, your state, your mental, physical, emotional state. Number 2, what matters. That's it. 2-part formula, 4 words, your state and what matters. Let's break down how you can internalize these ideas and just live with them in your back pockets. So that every single time you come across a small decision, you feel like you can whip it out of your pocket and just wave it like a wand. Ready? Here's my formula. Decision made. Done. The first half of the formula is notice your state. What is the easiest way to turn a 10-second decision into a 10-minute decision? If you're stressed, if you're super exhausted and depleted, if you are thinking about 19 other things at the same time, if you are in any kind of activated or depleted state, and it is not the state where you are powering through, just making calls left and right, feeling productive. One of my clients describes this as like, she's in weed whacker mode. She's like, just let me at these decisions. You can't see my hand, but it's whacking weeds. That came out weird. So if you're in any kind of activated or depleted state, you might not be in prime mental, emotional, or physical space to make fast decisions. You might still be able to make them. In fact, I know you definitely are still capable of making them. But what tends to happen in this situation is a 10-second choice becomes a 10-minute choice. A 10-minute choice becomes a 10-hour choice. And we don't want you using up your time and energy in that kind of clunky, heavy way, and then ending up with choices that you don't super fully trust anyway, because you're like, what? When did I order orange curtains? What's happening here? I actually do have orange curtains. They're rust colors and I love them. But when I decided the curtain and rug colors for this office, let me tell you, I took a look first to notice what state am I in right now? Because I want to kind of power through these choices. I don't want to spend an entire week on this. So I want you to check. And sometimes you have to stumble in the decision in order to notice, oh, I'm not in a great state for this. So that's fine. We're not going to judge that. All right. I don't want you to think that just because we're using words like formula and fast, efficient decision making, that you should be a robot and think, uh-oh, wait a minute, I'm about to make a choice. Let me assess my state. If you can start doing that habitually, super fantastic. You're going to save yourself a lot of time. But if you find yourself 5 minutes into a decision that you were like, I literally was just going to put this somewhere, and now I've been walking around my house holding it for 5 minutes and I don't know how I got here, that's okay. We're not going to judge that. You're just going to use that as a signal from yourself. Oh, my state is off in some way. I'm either emotionally somewhere or physically somewhere or mentally somewhere, and I need to address that. Now, it depends on what you want to do and what you can do at this point. Because if you want to and can delay the decision, you can do that. You can just feel like, I decide that the curtains can wait until I'm in the state that I want to be in to think about them. Done. This does not have to be a failing. You do not have to call this procrastination. This is literally delegating a decision to your future self. It's just like if you were bodybuilding and you couldn't lift a 50-pound weight, but you knew 6 weeks from now, future you can, because they're stronger. That's not procrastinating on that. You're just waiting until you're in the proper state to do that task, right? So if it's possible and you want to, delegate that choice to future you. Decide from an empowered place. This is going to take 6 hours if I try to do it right now. And I don't know how to get myself in a better state at this moment in time. I'm just feeling too, insert your adjective here. And decide that that's enough information. We don't have to make this decision right now. Done. Alternatively, if you want to and can change your state, do that. If you want to pick the curtains today, but you don't want to do it from this headspace, do something to change your headspace. Or if you are picking an outfit, let's say for the day, and you notice, oh my gosh, I've been staring blankly at my closet for 3 minutes now. Nothing's happened, and I don't think anything will. What do? I have to wear clothes today. I got to be out the door in 20 minutes. So I can't spend an hour like hemming and hawing about my outfit. Then you got to change your state. You got to shake your limbs out. You got to go outside and get some sunshine on your face. You got to say some affirmations or do 60 seconds of journaling or something to shift your emotional or physical or mental state. Now, I'm not saying you have to feel better. I'm not saying you have to eliminate all negativity and stress from your being in order to make this choice. I'm saying you got to change the state that you're in. Just shift it. Shake up that energy so that you can reapproach the decision from a different state. You will move through it more quickly, I guarantee you. Now, step 2 to the formula is decide what matters. I know that within this formula to make faster decisions, I've given you a step to make another decision. I know that. And I promise I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to make your life harder. I'm always only ever trying to make your life easier here. But skipping this step can elongate decisions. Because if you are looking at your closet full of options to wear, for instance, and there is not an immediate easy answer, how are you going to know how to decide? Well, you could spend an hour just trying things on willy-nilly and see what clicks. But if you don't have that time or you don't want to do it that way, you gotta give yourself a filter. You have to let yourself make a little micro decision first of, okay, what are we going for? Because any option will be valid if there are no parameters. So you got to ask yourself, what do I want to make matter right now in this choice? Now, this can activate a lot of things for anxious, overthinker, perfectionist types of people. It can activate, what if what matters right now isn't what matters for life? What if what I make matter right now isn't what I wish I made matter a week from now? What if I'm only thinking this matters right now because of the state I'm in? And if I were stronger, faster, better, slept well, crossed off everything on my list yesterday, was the perfect person I was born to be, I would choose the right thing to matter right now. This is where I'm going to ask you, with my eyes wide open, to cut yourself some slack. I know it's the high achiever's least favorite thing to do. I understand that. And I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. I'm going to ask you to recognize that the choices we're talking about here are low stakes, small decisions. I'm not saying they don't matter. I'm saying you and your precious heart cannot make every decision so precious that you raise the stakes regardless of how important they actually are. You cannot put the pressure on yourself to make the correct thing matter in every single tiny choice. You have to meet yourself where you are at some point in your human life. And your human life is one in which you are living imperfectly because there's no other option. So some things that we can tell ourselves in these moments when we get very, very uncomfortable about deciding what matters include, this is not permanent. This isn't life or death. I can't go wrong either way. You got to apply these as applicable, but sometimes it's really true that I can't go wrong either way. Tell yourself that when it's true. If I don't like it, I'll change it. What about when that's true? I know you think you should be perfect and you should never have to change something you don't like because you should get it right in the first place. I know. And here in reality on planet Earth, can you just make a choice and then change it if you don't like it afterwards? With these low stakes things? Probably. Tell yourself the truth. Good enough is good. When that's true, you got to hear it. You got to hear that from yourself, believe it, and move the heck on from that decision. An oldie but a goodie, done is better than perfect. Sometimes that is really true. Sometimes it's not. It does not always have to be true. But when it is, you can let it be true. And you can tell yourself, all right, I hear you. Little heartbeat, fluttering about just making this choice and not stressing about it being perfect. But I'm really going to believe right now that done is better than perfect. When this is true, tell yourself, future me can handle it. They're awesome. They've got this. How this looks in real life. Let's go back to our outfit situation, okay? You have 20 minutes before you're supposed to be out the door. You notice, oh my gosh, I am super nervous and I am in my head about this thing that I'm going to for work. And it is making my decision making about this outfit all kinds of bananas and complicated right now. What do I do? You take a breath, you notice, oh, I'm super nervous right now. Okay, that's my state. Maybe you notice I only have 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do right now is step away from this closet. I'm going to shake all my limbs out and I'm going to ask Google or Siri to set a timer for 30 seconds. And I'm just going to breathe out as long as I can. And then I'm going to breathe in again. And then I'm going to breathe out as long as I can. And then when the timer goes off, I'm going to step back to the closet and I'll be in some kind of different state. I'll know I haven't wasted a bunch of time. I'm not leaving the room. I don't have to start getting anxious that I'm running out of time. I'm setting a timer, but I'm doing something, literally anything, to change my state. Okay, now I'm back at the closet. What do I want to make matter? Well, I'm super nervous today, as noted. So the thing I need to prioritize right now is feeling as confident as I can. Pick the outfit that makes me feel the most confident. Go. Filter, parameters, choice made. Compared to that choice taking as long as it possibly can, that was a fast decision. Let me remind you about Parkinson's law. Tasks will expand to fill the time they're given. Same thing applies for decisions, folks. If you have 20 minutes before you have to get out that door and you have no way of controlling your decision process, you'll take 20 minutes to decide what to wear because that's the container. If you give yourself a smaller container, which is our little two-step formula here, just like bada bing, bada boom, notice your state, decide what matters, you make the decision more quickly. Let's use an example from last week. Last week, we talked about putting a picture up on the wall. This is me hammering. Let's say you're deciding where to put a picture and you notice your state is catastrophizing. Maybe you're doing that thing that we talked about last week where you're thinking, oh my gosh, what if it's wrong? What if I hate where it is? And then there's a hole in the wall forever. And then like it looks weird if I move it. Catastrophe, catastrophe, catastrophe. So what you're going to do is you're going to notice, oh, that's what I'm doing. My heart rate is super elevated. Now I have the option to just not do this until I'm in a relaxed, creative, and confident place. I could delegate this to future me because she's just going to love putting this picture up and she's like not going to have a problem with it. But if you decide I do want to get this picture hung because of whatever reason, I want it done by the end of the day or I want it done right now, you can notice your state that you're catastrophizing, do anything to shift it. And sometimes that can be telling yourself this isn't permanent, this isn't life or death. Sometimes it can just literally be walking away. Give yourself a break. Give yourself 5 minutes to think about anything else. Go do something else and return to the original decision in a different state. Then decide what matters. Well, here's what matters. This wall is empty, so I need something on it to balance out this wall over here. And it matters that I like it now, not forever. If I change my mind in 3 months and I want to put something else up or I want to move it, I will. Decision made. Quick and easy. Let's say you get that text. You didn't go looking for a decision came looking for you. Maybe it's midweek and you get a text. What you doing this weekend? Do you want to come to this thing? Here's a decision to make. A decision has shown up on your doorstep. You might decide, I am too exhausted to make this decision right now because all I'm going to want to do right now is say no to anything forever for the rest of time because I am out of battery. I am out of life force. So maybe you decide, I want future me to really think through this about what I want to do and what matters. And maybe you even text that back. Listen, I'm trying to normalize the language of conscious decision making here. So if you want to join me, it's made my life a whole lot easier. I will tell you that much. When I tell someone transparently, I'm not in a place that I can even think through this decision right now, but I really want to from a clear head. So let me get back to you. They get it because guess what? They're humans too. They're like, oh, I know what that feels like. Cool. Understood. You don't have to, but you can. You can say, hey, let me get back to you when my head's in the clear spot because I'm like out of juice right now. Now, if you do delegate a choice to future you, all I'm going to say is do something to make it easier on future you to close that loop. If it's inevitable, if you have left the picture and the hammer and the nails out on the table and you've decided to do it tomorrow, you'll see that and that will be your reminder to do that, right? If it's something a little easier to forget, like somebody texted you and it's gone into the black hole of the internet and you've said, oh, I want to do this tomorrow, just give yourself a quick reminder. Put it in your calendar, tell your phone to remind you, just so it doesn't add so much to your mental load. Just because you're delegating something to future you doesn't mean you have to bear the extra weight of that until you get to it later. That's the point of delegating, is so you can lighten your load right now. So, hot tip for when you delegate a future decision. Just make it easy for future you to get back to it, okay? So I hope this helps. I hope you use these things this week to make small decisions faster. Notice your state, decide what matters. Use that language with yourself. Normalize it by using the language with other people. You know what I'm deciding matters right now? That we get any kind of protein and that we sit outside because I've been indoors all day. That's what's for dinner. You know what? I'm not in the headspace I want to be in to think through this. Let's circle back in an hour. Let's normalize this and let's make decisions faster and like them more. Are you with me? Okay, I have 2 things that are going to help you with this. If you haven't gotten the 5 things clear-headed decision makers get right, get that guide right now. It's free. And every time somebody gets it, they see something that they needed to hear that day. Like, yeah, this is why I feel like this is complicated right now, because I'm not doing that. So go get your hands on that 5 things clear-headed decision makers get right at kirstenparker.com/clear. And if you haven't gotten the Decision Ease Essentials mini workshop yet, go get your hands on that, because it's just about making your decisions easier, your everyday daily decisions, from the small stakes to the big stakes. We want to make these easier because these are not new. Every time you make a low or high stakes decision, it's not the first time you've ever done it, and it's not going to be the last. So my job is to help reinforce your decision-making foundation so that it is as strong as possible. So every time you come upon these decisions in your everyday Tuesday afternoon or your big life choice Saturday, it doesn't have to be as stressful and hard. You can feel like, I know what I'm doing here. You can always look in the show notes at how we can work together. Right now, we can work together one-on-one to help you achieve very specific goals and change very specific habits. Or you can get on the waitlist for the Decision Ease program, which is starting in early 2026. You can read all about those options and find out which one is right for you at kirstenparker.com/coaching. I hope you have a fabulous week. Go make small decisions faster and enjoy all the extra time and energy and brain space you have. And I'll see you soon. Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.